All right, today's the day. I asked you guys to send me your favorite recipes from your mum or dad, and you did not disappoint. I was sent literally hundreds of recipes and they all sounded amazing, but I've chosen my 4 favorites to run through today. And while yes, I am gonna rate them, I'm gonna be very surprised if these 4 recipes do not hit the spot, because we all know that mum cooks the best. I am super excited for this one. Let's get stuck in. First up, one of my absolute favorites from Louisiana, gumbo. Morgan sent this in, thank you Morgan. And one thing that's really necessary with gumbo is Andouille sausage. I think I'm pronouncing that terribly. This is pretty hard to find in Australia, but there is this company here that we found that does it called Feather and Bone if you're looking for it. So you can get it in Australia. If you can't find it, you're looking for like a smoky, smoked hot sausage. So there's usually, most butchers will have like a chorizo or something like that. Anyway, like most gumbos, it starts with the roux. Big pot, high heat, and we got lard. Good to see lard being used. Morgan sent a really nice story about he learned to make this with his father, or for his father, because his father missed it, and they make it together as a family, which is beautiful. And I think it's a great dish to cook for a large group of people. It's kind of like, you know, the ultimate kind of one-pot dish. In the recipe here, as normal with a roux like this, once the fat melts, we're gonna add the flour. And a roux for gumbo, you gotta cook it out. Unlike a roux for French cooking, you want this dark, and the darker the better. You don't wanna burn it, but you want it really dark mahogany color. All right, once our flour is like nicely, there's no lumps, like I said before, we're gonna keep cooking that out. We're gonna cook that till it's a really, really dark mahogany color. We are gonna need to stir it though pretty often, so hopefully I don't burn it. So yellow pepper, or yellow capsicum we call it down here. I think it's called capsicum in the UK as well. Could be wrong. Let me know in the comments. Is this a capsicum or a bell pepper? Where you're from? Oh, almost burnt it. I'm gonna turn that right down. We saved it just in time. And this stuff is like molten lava too. It's hot fat and flour. If this gets on your skin, it's gonna hurt, so be careful. I'm actually gonna get a whisk in there, I think. Yeah, I think a whisk's better for that job. All right, bell pepper's done. I think there's an onion, white onion, 3 sticks of celery, 1 white onion, 6 garlic cloves. Get all these chopped up, then we'll get back to the roux. Ooh, that's looking good. Add the bell peppers, celery, and onion to the roux. Season with salt and pepper. Saute, mixing through the roux for 4 or 5 minutes, then add the garlic and stir through. Yeah, chef, I'm gonna turn that heat up high. So, we're gonna add our bell pepper, celery, and onion. Mix that through the roux. Season with salt and pepper. I'm gonna cook that for 3 to 4 minutes before we add the garlic. All right, we're gonna need the sausage and the chicken soon. So I'm gonna cut that up first on a separate board so I don't mess my other one. We'll cut the sausage first, and then I'll cut the chicken thighs. Ooh, smoky. I'm just gonna slice this into discs. 6 chicken thighs sliced. I'm gonna leave the fat on there. Fat is flavor. There was lots of comments about, what about Dad's recipes? And I shouldn't have discriminated. Dad recipes were also welcome. That sheet where you can add your recipes is still live, so you know, if you wanna add your own mum or dad recipe, feel free to. You never know, if this video does well, we might do another round. I'm gonna wash my knife in my hand. All right, our mirepoix, or Holy Trinity as they call it, is nicely softened. We're gonna add our garlic. Cook that for another couple of minutes. I do like how Morgan separates the garlic out so that the garlic doesn't burn. Shows a good level of cooking there. What's next, Morgan? First time really reading this recipe. 2 more minutes of cooking. Add the sliced chicken with the seasoning, which is garlic powder, smoked paprika, cayenne pepper, oregano, and onion powder, and bay leaf, and thyme. I don't have any butcher string for the thyme. Oh well, I'll have to wing that one. I wonder if I can use another piece of thyme to tie up the thyme. I reckon I can do this. It's like the most sustainable way to make a bouquet garni. That also rhymes. Look at that. Pretty happy with myself for that. I don't reckon I'm the first person to do that either. Chicken in. Caitlin just bought me that board. I don't think she bought it for me to cut chicken up on. I think she bought it for me because she thought it was pretty. And stir that through. Got that heat back up nice and high because that chicken would have brought the temperature of that pot right down. Seasonings. How much of the stuff does he want? Sorry, I'm assuming Morgan's a he. Tablespoon of everything, but half of cayenne. I can do that. Garlic powder. Oh well. Smoked paprika. In half a cayenne. In oregano, or oregano where we come from. In onion powder. In our thyme wrapped in thyme. How many bay leaves? Surely it's only 2 or something. 2. I'm gonna put 3 in because they were small. Stir that around. Get those seasonings all nice and even. I'm also gonna add a bit more salt to that chicken. Tell you what, it smells good. Where does the sausage go in? Mix well before adding the cold stock and stir until there's no lumps. Add the sliced sausage after. Okay. Then simmer the whole pot for 30 to 40 minutes. Yes, chef. Here's some cold stock I prepared earlier. In that goes. Worth mentioning this is chicken stock too. Also lots of funny comments about people saying, there's no chance I'm giving you my mum's recipe, or there's no chance my mum's giving you my recipe, her recipes. They're secret, trade secrets, which I respect. But at the same time, let's not gatekeep the stuff, guys. If it's delicious, let the world enjoy it. Stir it through so there's no lumps. In with our sausage. And then I think we simmer it for 35 to 40 minutes. Serve it over rice. I hope it thickens up a bit. I'm assuming it will, but we'll see. We'll come back. 35 minutes. All right, so it's been simmering for 35 minutes now, and it is looking good. I had a cheeky taste. It's also tasting delicious. The only thing I'm surprised about is I thought it would be a little bit thicker. However, the viscosity in the mouth feels amazing. And what do I know? I'm not from Louisiana. Let's have one more taste, see if it needs any salt, but I think it's pretty good. Yum. All right, I'm just gonna cut some green onions for the top. And I think for this, I kind of want a mixture of both the green part and the white part. And the directions say, pile it high, which I kind of like. In other news, my bouquet garni, my thyme that was tied up with thyme has collapsed and there's thyme everywhere, but that's all right. We don't learn if we don't try. A few thyme stalks in there, but that's all right. Get rid of that big one. Another one there. Got some rice. And there we go. Morgan's family gumbo. Looks pretty good. Let's have a taste. We'll leave the rice. We all know what that tastes like. We just want the good stuff. Wow. That's hot, heat hot. But it's delicious. It's spicy. It's full of flavor. It's really well balanced with quite a lot of sweetness in there. You know, naturally occurring sweetness from the onions and the peppers. Man, deep, rich flavor. That's delicious. Thank you, Morgan. Definitely make this. Next up, it's a little bit less technical, but just as delicious. Actually, that's not true. It's definitely not as delicious as this, but it's a little bit less technical. This next recipe was from at Kerala, I think his name's Harry. It was written so eloquently, we had to include it. Golden oat infused toasted rings with honey. Sounded intriguing. Let's go to the method. It's quite a big method. Lots of steps. I'll touch on a few. Decide on your bowl. Okay. This looks good. Select a clean, appropriate sized bowl from your kitchen. Consider ceramic, glass, or a plastic, depending on your preference. I like ceramic, very good. Number 2, inspect the bowl. Ensure the bowl is free of dust. Yep, seems clean. Residue or any leftover food particles. If necessary, rinse out and wash again. I think we're good. Sorry, rinse out and dry again. I think we're good. Number 3, choose your spoon. Pick a spoon that feels comfortable in your hand. A standard tablespoon or teaspoon works well, depending on your preferences. I'm a tablespoon type of guy. Caitlin's a teaspoon. Step 4, select the Cheerios box. Right, okay, now we see where we're going. Here we go. Cheerios. Check the expiry date. Yes, best before 2025, very good. Open the box, pour in the Cheerios, select your milk options. I think we can see where this is going. I don't think I've ever eaten a Cheerio. Full milk, of course. Yep, the old sniff test. Let's have a taste. Not really a cereal type of guy. Sweet, lovely texture, nice cold milk. What's not to like about that? Thanks, Harry. Next up, we got chicken in a clay pot from Roxy. Thank you, Roxy. They specified a brand of clay pot, which I couldn't get, but I have got this one here. It's a Japanese one. I'm sure it will do the same thing. And the first step in the recipe is to soak in lukewarm water for 10 to 20 minutes, which we've already done. So we'll leave that to the side. Now, clay pot chicken is often can be a lot of things. This feels like a very French version. I've had a lot of clay pot rice dishes. We had a really good one in Singapore actually last year. Anyway, this sounds delicious. Preheat the oven, oven's preheated. So you add the chicken to the clay pot, rub in butter, garlic, rosemary, and then you add potatoes, carrots, onions. Okay, well let's get this stuff ready. We'll also put some rosemary and thyme on this. I'm gonna cut that up first. So some room temperature butter here. 1 sprig of fresh rosemary. Okay, I'll pull this off and just cut that through. And it says to cover the chicken like you would a turkey. Cut this up a bit. And I got some carrots ready to go around as well. Some potatoes. I'm just gonna cut these up a little bit. Got some garlic here. We're gonna take our chicken. It said like you would a turkey, so my interpretation of that is to put it under the skin of it. So I'm gonna do that. Might be interpreting it wrong, but that'll help keep the breast meat nice and moist. Push that down. And then I'm just gonna put the rest of this butter all over this thing. Put some in the cavity. I said half a stick of butter. We don't really have sticks of butter here in Australia. It's more of an American thing, but that's about 125 grams, which is quite a lot of butter to be fair. Going to also just tie these legs in a bit. So I'm gonna put a little slice into there, a slice into there. Bring this leg up and through that hole. And we'll do the same with the other side, and that will just keep this a bit tighter, should cook a bit more evenly. The old self-trussed chicken. Okay, I'm gonna wash my hands, and we're just gonna season this bird with white pepper, it said. Make sure you get the underside, salt. Same on the side. And this side. Then we put our potatoes around. Oh, we got our rosemary, almost forgot about that. There's a lot of stuff to fit in a pot. Got some baby carrots here. An onion, quartered. So I'm gonna keep that root attached so that hopefully it doesn't fall apart. We have some nice roast onions in there. And that goes. Cool. Oh, garlic. Almost forgot my garlic. Cut it in half so we get a bit more coverage. Let rosemary, give my hands a wash again. And then we just add equal amounts of wine, like half a cup of wine, half a cup of water. So I've got some white wine here. I think you'd definitely use white wine. I think it said white wine in the recipe actually. Water. Ooh, that looks pretty good before it even goes in the oven. All right, lid on. That's a full pot. Into the oven. So our oven's set to 170 degrees Celsius. Then it goes. It says an hour to an hour and a half, but we'll come back and check it after an hour, see how it's all looking. All right, it's been an hour and a half. I checked this about 20 minutes ago and it was pretty close. The potatoes needed a bit longer, but I reckon it should be good now. Da, 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 da. Wow, let's see. Kind of works like a little oven. I think if anything, if we had like the pot was a bit bigger, you'd probably get more color on your chicken too. That chicken's definitely cooked, very good. Potatoes good, yeah, potatoes are good. Garlic's good, carrots are good. Stunning. Just gonna let that rest for a good 10 minutes, let some heat come out, and then we'll plate it up and serve it. I like how the potatoes are kind of cooked in all the chicken juice. We've got a bit of broccolini on the side here as well, because greens, you know, Mum always says, eat your greens. A little bit of onion, it's garlic clove. Oh, look at the butter that came out of that. So Roxy also said in the recipe to make sure you have some French bread or baguette to dip in the juice. With all that butter, I'd be very surprised if this doesn't taste delicious. Can confirm that's yum. Let's taste the chicken. It's tender, juicy, nicely seasoned. Rosemary comes through strong. Potatoes cooked lovely. Carrots cooked nice. Nice piece of garlic. Yum. That's a winner. All right, we've got one more dish and then we'll rate them. All right, last recipe, and I might be cheating a little bit here because I love these things. A friend of mine who I used to work with used to make them for me all the time as staff meal, and I love them. They're delicious. It's Aloo Paratha, which is basically like a flatbread with lots of potato. So aloo is potato in Indian. So this recipe was sent to me by Andouille, sorry if I've mispronounced your name, and she had a really beautiful little story with it. We would have this every Sunday brunch. My mum would cook them for us and serve them hot. They were the best times in the world, and I love that. Food is all about memory for me, history, family, all that good stuff. So I love those little stories. I'm a bit of a hopeless kind of romantic at heart. Don't let this tough Xperia fool you. It's a pretty simple kind of recipe. There's two parts. There's the aloo, so the seasoned potato, and then the dough. So the dough needs to rest for 15 minutes. So we'll make that first. So we've got a bowl. We've got whole wheat flour, and which the Indian name for that is atta, A-T-T-A. Pretty sure it's just whole wheat flour. A pinch of salt, and then 2 pinches of ajwain seeds, which I don't even know what that is. I've never. Let's find out what that is. Oh, it's caraway. Okay, there you go. Caraway seeds. That's funny. They're quite different to the caraway that I know. They're a lot smaller. Yeah, I grew up eating a lot of caraway. It's quite prominent in Dutch cooking. 2 pinches of caraway. That's way more than 2 pinches, but I like it. So 2 tablespoons of vegetable oil. 1, 2, and a bit for good luck. And then enough water to make a soft dough. Ghee for frying. I'm gonna bring this together. I guess I'm gonna need to work this gluten a little bit. So we will knead it briefly on the bench, but it doesn't need to be soft. It needs to be pretty malleable. I probably should have weighed how much water I was doing. So I have to make it again and figure out the actual water quantity. So very simple dough, whole wheat flour, caraway seeds, salt, a little bit of oil. Okay, that's come together nicely. We're just gonna work this dough so it becomes all homogeneous. So I've only kneaded this for maybe 3 minutes on a really lightly floured bench. And then I'm just gonna bring it all together into a nice tight ball. And you see here, this dough is like super soft and pliable. And I can easily push it down. It bounces back a little bit, but not completely. Into the bowl that you're mixing it to start with. Actually, save myself a bit of hassle. Put a little bit of oil in there too. And then into there. Roll it around. And it's not gonna rise, this dough. There's obviously no yeast in it or rising agent. But we do want to relax it. You want that flour to be fully hydrated before we move on to the next step. So we're just going to cover it with a tea towel so that the airflow is not over it. We'll leave it to a side and we'll get our aloo filling ready. I got a bowl and I got some potato that's been peeled, boiled and mashed. Just mash roughly, you don't want it like super smooth. That goes into a bowl. What else do we add? Potato, red onion diced, green chili diced. Now I know this is the wrong green chili because in Indian cooking they use the smaller green ones, but we couldn't find any. So this one we'll have to do. Some coriander, salt, chili powder, dried mango powder, yum, and cumin. So I'm just gonna dice up this onion. Not too small, you still wanna kind of see it in there. Green chili. Now, I am going to take the seeds out of this because I want to control the heat with the chili powder. The pith and the seeds can be a little bit bitter. And then coriander, stalks, roots and all. Just roughly chop that. Just make sure you wash it well. So all that goes in the aloo, the potato. Making a bit of a mess here, haven't I? Pinch of salt, chili powder, mango powder, dried mango powder. Put all that in there. And ground cumin. Mix this all together. We just want this evenly distributed. All right, I'm gonna have a clean up. We'll let that dough finish doing its thing, and then we'll roll these out together, fry them off. We'll be eating some delicious flatbreads. So to roll these, we're gonna do it with our hands. We've got our dough. This dough that I did is actually enough for 4. So we're gonna cut that into 4. It can be quite big, that's all right. You can weigh this as well, but I think just like that's fine. Put the ones that we're not using back in the bowl so they don't dry out. Just flatten this with your hand and try and form a loose circle. Doesn't need to be too perfect. No one's perfect. I'm definitely not perfect. Mixture into the middle. I'm just doing this how I was seen people do it. I don't know if it's right or not, but we'll find out in the comments. Now we're gonna bring the dough over. The idea is that you have like a kind of a flatbread, well, a flatbread. Oh, I don't like that air. I'm gonna have a little pinch here. Get rid of that air. Close that up. Oh, I've got more air. So I'm gonna flatten this out, and now this is when we get the really nice shape. Okay, I got a cast iron pan. I've had that on the heat, and I've just turned it off because I don't want it to get too hot, but pans like that, it's important that you do preheat them well. They take a bit longer to preheat, but they hold their temperature well. And then we've got some ghee here. Oh, now I've got a greasy hand I can't open, or maybe I'm just weak. Ugh. Okay, add a bit of ghee to this. Make sure it's got a nice coating, a little bit to the pan. Use a comically large spoon for the job that I had at hand, but that's okay. Carefully take this and lay it into the pan. Keep it moving. So that's still off. Turn the heat back on, but turn it down to like a low, medium, low heat. We're obviously not trying to cook the potato, but we are trying to cook the dough. I'm gonna keep that moving around the pan, and at some point we'll flip it. At some point. When it's golden brown, we'll flip it. It is important to keep it moving in the pan. We'll give it a press too. We move it around the pan so that we get an even color across it. It's the same with anything really in a pan. If you're trying to toast bread in a pan, like a sandwich or something like that, if you keep moving it, you'll get a more even color. That's because it doesn't matter how good your pan is, it's gonna have like temperature differences. There's air pockets underneath things, so if you keep pressing it and moving it, you kind of move those air pockets around. You can hear there, right? I push that down. I'll get close, burn myself, but you should be able to hear. And that's it coming into contact, which is why we use protein presses. So there's no harm in flipping this a couple of times as well. It's better off to flip it more often and understand what's happening underneath than to keep guessing it and take it too far. You know, this rule that you should only flip things once, I think, is kind of debunked at this point. We're gonna flip this and have a look. Oh yeah. Not enough color yet, but it's coming, it's coming. Oh, that's what we're looking for. I like this area here. It's a nice amount of char. Pan's getting a bit hot though. I'm seeing a little bit too much smoke. Just turned it right down. A little bit more ghee on there. Oh, I like that one. I think we're almost ready. So you can serve this just as they are. A little bit of extra ghee on top. Some nice like, raita or mint yogurt, or sorry, cucumber yogurt, or like a really nice like lime pickle. I love that, the Indian lime pickle. Or even like a tomato chutney, like a spicy tomato chutney. Lots of ways to do it. Honestly, I kind of usually just eat them how they are, but a little bit of extra ghee on top. All right, I think the time's come. Now I'm just gonna let that rest because I don't want to burn my mouth like I did in the gumbo, and then we'll have a taste. All right, this has rested a bit so it won't destroy my taste buds with heat. Look at that, filling inside, potato. It's kind of this interesting thing where you have these two pieces of bread and then this potato filling all stuffed in one. How does it taste? It's so yummy. It's so Moorish. It's like really lovely flatbread, soft fluffy potato, it's seasoned really nicely. That is a delicious snack and really not that hard to pull off. Well, that was a super fun one for us to pull together. It's really interesting to see what you guys, the community, cook at home and what you treasure at home. And it makes perfect sense that all these dishes that have come through are comfort food. It's all about bringing people together, families together, and breaking bread together. They were all absolutely delicious. The first dish, the gumbo, was hearty, delicious. I love the meatiness of it. I love it with rice, and it is a perfect dish to share together. One of the ultimate one-pot wonders of the world. Pretty easy to pull together. It's absolutely delicious and it can feed a lot of people really quickly. I don't really know how I'm gonna score these because it feels unfair to be judging people's family treasures. So all I'm gonna say is that's a 9 out of 10, absolutely delicious dish, definitely make that. Next up, we had a bowl of Cheerios, and I don't really eat much cereal. Surprisingly enough, I kind of enjoyed it and ate the whole bowl. But that, however, gets a score of, I don't know, I'm not even gonna score it. The clay pot chicken. There's versions of that dish all around the world, from France all the way through to Japan. I've had some dishes similar but rice-based in Singapore, and I'm guessing it comes from decades ago when people didn't have domestic ovens and they were cooking their dishes in charcoal, in the old school clay pots covered in charcoal. It makes perfect sense. It's also a fantastic one-pot dish. You shove everything in there, you put it in the oven, you come back an hour and a half later with some French bread and some greens, and you have a delicious meal for everyone. The chicken was cooked really nice, the potatoes were cooked really nice, and you can kind of flavor it however you want. It's also a 9 out of 10, definitely make that. And lastly, Aloo Paratha, a comfort food classic. I love those things with my whole heart. I don't know why, there's something about that seasoned potato and that flatbread, grilled nicely in the ghee. It is super Moorish. I'm gonna be super boring and give this a 9 out of 10 also. I'm not a food reviewer, I'm just a chef who likes to cook. Thanks legends for watching. If you made it this far, like this video if you took anything from it, subscribe if you're not, and we'll see you next week for another recipe. And let us know in the comments, have you also added to the list of parents' amazing meals that we should try? If this video does well, and enough of you say so, we might just do another version. We'll see you next week. Peace.